Larry came to people's attention when on Tuesday the 7th of August 1973, CB radio users in New Mexico began getting transmissions from a 7-year-old boy called Larry crying for help around 9:45 p.m. CB operators began talking to Larry and found out that he had been driving with his dad in a desolate area on a rabbit run, and during the drive, his dad had collapsed, causing his truck to crash and overturn with them both still inside, and that Larry believed his dad was now dead. Larry then told the operators that he was trapped inside the truck and was unable to get the truck door open. He mentioned he was injured from the truck crashing but never said what exactly his injuries were or how serious they were. CB radio users called the police, and police started to receive multiple calls coming from Albuquerque in New Mexico. Law enforcement formed a search team that included volunteers from emergency radio groups, and on the next day, the 8th of August, they felt under pressure to find Larry as they knew they would be running out of time. Searchers and law enforcement didn't understand how the CB radio in the truck was still on due to it being powered by the truck's battery, and if the truck's engine was no longer running then it wouldn't be able to charge the CB radio's battery, so would drain quickly. Although it also could have had an internal battery but still would not have had a large capacity, so still would drain quickly, and it was estimated to have had around 4 to 5 hours of power. Radio operators situated on top of Sandia Crest, an area east of Albuquerque, were able to gain contact with Larry, but that contact soon dropped when Larry switched the channel. Police believed the signal was coming from the southeast of Albuquerque and east of the Manzano Mountains, so they flew planes and helicopters over that area with their radio systems tuned into the specific bands which Larry had been using as they were in a panic trying to locate the 7-year-old boy. Police were then able to speak to Larry over CB radio themselves, and he explained to them how he and his dad had been traveling to Los Lunas, but when police asked Larry where he was originally from, Larry never gave them an exact answer. By that Wednesday, a day later, Larry's radio transmissions were getting weaker with his signals slowly starting to break up, and he was saying that his CB radio would run out of power soon. His transmissions were then heard all over America up to Canada, which made people think it was a hoax, but police bought in experts who said that there was a thing with CB radio called CB skipping, that due to atmospheric conditions and other conditions let the signal travel long distances and allow a signal to bounce from one state to the other. But another thing that made police think it was a hoax was because Larry could never give them his full name. A radio operator soon made contact with Larry, and he told them he could see the searchlights from the airplane as it was going over Manzano Mountain as they were searching for him. By Thursday, Larry's story was headline news, and as law enforcement continued investigating, they tried but failed to locate where Larry's transmissions were coming from, and due to his radio transmissions bouncing from the canyons and mountain tops in the Manzano Mountains was making the search even harder. During their search, 3 helicopters and 3 airplanes had their radios on but were not able to make contact with Larry. Army vehicles were sent out with equipment that could latch on to radio signal beams from Larry's radio, but they were not able to maintain contact with Larry long enough to pinpoint his location. The last confirmed contact with Larry came on Thursday afternoon at 2:15 p.m. with a weak voice signal. The radio operators were able to confirm this was Larry, and they instructed Larry to activate his microphone and scream loudly. Their monitors showed a weak transmission that was consistent with Larry's CB radio running out of power. This was the last official communication with Larry. The CB radio operator who first made contact with Larry on Tuesday claimed to have heard Larry say, "David, come and help me." And other CB radio users claimed that the boy's name was David Peak, although there were many people pretending to be Larry as a joke. All the radio operators who had talked to the boy confirmed to be Larry all agreed he was real and not a hoax. By Monday the 13th of August, law enforcement called off the search for Larry. A young boy in Phoenix played a practical joke and pretended to be Larry that Saturday and Sunday, but law enforcement traced this boy to Phoenix and found he was using a walkie-talkie. A press conference was held by the police chief and he explained they had exhausted all leads and had no other things to investigate but also had no evidence supporting it being real and nothing to say Larry even existed. There were no missing person reports ever made matching Larry and his father's description. It was said in some sources that 3 pilots in the search spotted a red truck in the New Mexico desert, but it's not known what came of this. It is believed by some that the first transmissions from Larry were real, but some of the others were just copycats playing a hoax. Still to this day, people are divided whether Lost Boy Larry was genuine or a hoax.